Welcome to The Lift with Sheila Robinson Kiss. Come on in. There's always a special place set aside for you here where you can relax, kick up your heels, pour yourself a nice, refreshing drink, and prepare to be lifted and soar. Thanks so much, everyone, and welcome back. It's always nice to connect with you. This, I think, is going to be an interesting video because the topic in and of itself, I'm not sure if a lot of folks have heard the term Monday night girls and Thursday night boys. If you're unclear on that, it's going to be cleared up in about 15 or 20 minutes or so. But before that, I want to share a little story with you. I was talking to a friend of mine, been friends for over 20 years. We don't get to talk all that often, but nevertheless, a treasured friend, always happy to hear from this individual. And at the end of the phone call, my friend said to me, "You know what, Sheila? We've been friends a long time, and I know we don't talk all that much, but I swear to you, I know in my heart that if someone kidnapped me, took me to Antarctica, somewhere across the globe, and I had one phone call, I would pick you because I know you would come." And I got a little quiet. I said, "How do you know? How can you be sure?" And my friend said, "You know what? Sometimes you just know." And it was such a sweet sentiment. I was humbled by her statement and the phone call. And I reflected on it after, and I have to tell you that she was right. But that same level of commitment and that same level of integrity, I extend that to all of my subscribers. I take this work very, very seriously. And some of you may say, "Well, how do you have such loyalty and commitment to me? We don't even know each other." I don't necessarily need to meet you. You don't need to meet me. That's the beauty of this work, this elevated work. It is spiritual work. We don't ever need to meet and actually shake hands to have a profound and deep impact on one another's lives. So I really invite you to tune in, to keep watching. For those of you who have been around for the last 7 years, you know that the work in and of itself every year goes deeper and deeper. The commitment grows stronger and stronger. And incidentally, I want to say a couple things about the videos. There's a couple hundred right now if you include the other on-demand archive that I have. And the way to do it, go back into the videos. You don't need to make this just a one-shot deal. Pull those videos out, go through the catalog, see what resonates with you. Doesn't matter what you're going through, chances are I've made a video to address it. That's how I use the videos. You're going through rejection, pull out the video on rejection. You're going through some relationship tribulation, pull out the videos on relationship anxiety. I've got that there too. Family issues, they're all in there. So I want you to just feel free to use the catalog in the videos as they are intended. So that's just my little sidebar for today. Back to the topic at hand. Monday night girls and Thursday night boys. Like I said, if you don't know what that means, you're about to know in the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. I was sitting with a gentleman, and he actually inspired this video a couple months ago. And he says to me, "Sheila, I am seeing this woman. I am falling madly in love with her. She's amazing. She's awesome. There's just one problem. We're going into our seventh month dating, and she just seems to have a really protective stance around her time. I may see her a couple times during the week on a Wednesday or Thursday or so, and I've asked her, can we go for a weekend trip? I haven't met her friends or family. I follow her on Facebook, so I know she has a really active and robust social life, and it's just, I care for her deeply. It's just a question mark. And so I'm listening to him, and clearly he's kind of beaming. He's really head over heels for her, and I just had to give him just a little bit of reality check. I said, it really sounds like she's trying to turn you into a Thursday night boy. And he kind of looked and said, a Thursday night boy, what is that? And I said, well, a Thursday night boy, maybe if you haven't heard that, you haven't heard of a Monday night girl either. You're someone that this counterpart has on an optional rotation. Wednesday, Thursday through the week is just fine, but that coveted, that holy grail of the weekend downtime, they reserve that for someone else. I'm not saying that's the case, but that's what it's sounding like, that you're not in the primary rotation. And he said, well, Sheila, I don't, why would she do that? Why would something like that happen? And again, had to give the honest response as I see it. And I said, well, because you allow her to do that. You allow her to do that. And I've said it as many different ways as I can. I'm even taking Spanish lessons now. I'm trying to learn to speak Spanish so that I can say it to you in a different language. People, from the time we meet them, throughout the unfolding and blossoming of the relationship, you are constantly training people, teaching people, showing people how to treat you. And there will be people, and you've met these folks, they understand decency, respect, reciprocity. And there are other people that you will meet if you allow them to manipulate you, or to treat you less than, or to put you in those optional slots. They will do that. They will do that very easily. And why? Because they can. I've worked with these people extensively in my practice. I've met these people along the way, and we try to pretty it up and pick out the reasons apart. Most of the time they do it because they can, and because you allow them. You allow them to do that, and you land in these less than places, these optional places. And a lot of times it's just based on their convenience, but their convenience can become your heartache and your heartbreak and your hassle. And I don't want that for any of my subscribers. So lean in very closely. The thing about being a Monday night girl or a Thursday night boy, let me tell you something. If that's what you want, then God bless. And I am a very non-judgmental person. I've met people from all walks of life. I sat with a woman some months ago, and she was very much in an optional rotation. Matter of fact, she was in a very secret relationship, and she told me straight up, it's fine with me, Sheila. I'm enjoying myself. This is what I want. It's what I sought out. And, that I'm not necessarily in agreement with that, but that is not my life. That is not my life. She's a Monday night girl, and she's happy with that, even in bliss to some extent, based on what she shared with me. So if that is what you want, this video is not necessarily for you. It's targeted toward people who you do want more. You do want to be on, let's say, that primary spot, if you will. You want to be front and center. And I have to say, I've learned a lot. And my greatest lessons, actually, my greatest education has come from the clientele and the people that I've met along the way. And I have to tell you, you'd be very surprised. You'd be very surprised who has reached out to Sheila Robinson Kiss. I was talking to a gentleman a couple years ago. This is actually someone who you've probably seen. You've probably seen him on the big screen. And we're having this conversation, and he tells me, Sheila, I've got my A girl. He's dated a couple women at the same time. He said, I've got my A girl, and then over here I've got my BC girl. And, there's just it's an interesting dynamic. I said, well, hold on. How do you make the distinction? He said, well, my BC girl, She's laid back. She makes it easy for me. She's very accommodating. And my A girl, and by the way, this was the one he was getting ready to propose to. He ironically wanted some advice on what is the best way to break it off with his BC girl. So, the one on that his A rotation had spent a lot of time with her. She was just a different kind of person. She would not accept the mediocrity from him. She expected the best. She got the best. And the whole time he's talking to me, I'm thinking to myself, wow, I bet this woman you refer to as BC, I bet she feels like being flexible and being loving and kind of staying out of your way is scoring her some brownie points. And in actuality, it completely worked against her. He did propose to the young lady that referred to as his A. They now have 2 children. And quite frankly, I'm convinced it's because she expected the best. She got it, and she did not allow herself to be slotted in any less than role. The moral of that story is this. I believe that all relationships, the best relationships unfold organically. So I'm not talking about getting into game playing or anything like this, but I do have a really marvelous nugget of advice for you. And if you follow it, your life is going to improve, not just in these relationships, but business across the board. See, never, ever lose focus. Never lose focus and perspective on where you're positioned in your relationships. Never lose focus on where you're positioned. Never get it confused, because that's where relationship imbalance begins to occur. So I'd use this analogy. If you're looking up in the sky and you have someone and they're so important to you, see, this person becomes your North Star. They become your everything, your direction, your focus. And then that same person, they look up in the sky and all they see is pitch black. They don't even see any stars. You know why? Because they're not looking in your direction. You're not even in their orbit. You're not even in their orbit. In the space between them being your North Star and you not being even on their radar, that's called your pain. That is called your pain. So never lose focus of where you are positioned. And so the question is, I don't make these videos just to pontificate and just so you can hear my voice. This is solution focused programming. This is solution focused programming. So the question is, well, how do I back out, Sheila? I feel like I am in a Monday night girl role or a Thursday night boy. How do I reverse the trend? Well, you reverse the trend. If I ask you, how do you drink water? Well, Sheila, just put the glass up and I drink it. How do you back out of a parking space? I just put my car in reverse. The same principles are true here. When next time you get that text or that phone call, hey, let's get together. It's Tuesday night, it's Thursday night, it's Monday night, whatever. You know what? I'm really busy. You need to get busy. I'm busy. I do have availability Friday, Sunday, whatever the case may be. Maybe we can fit in that weekend trip that I talked about. So in other words, what you do is close off access to that positioning. And then it's not going to be a problem for you. So what's the problem? This is the only time you have available. Well, if they have slots, other pockets available in their life, and this is a relationship that is unfolding, and they don't give you access to that, and they know how you're feeling, that's a problem in and of itself. That is telling you something. That is all the information you need to hear. So again, pay attention to that positioning. Also, if you've watched my videos, you know another one of my favorite quotes is, see, the Lord is not the author of confusion. The Lord is not the author of confusion. And where there's confusion, the first step, well, let me try to get some clarity and clear it up. And if you can't clear it up and it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck, I'll bet you what, it's a duck. There's something wrong. You need to back off. That's not the circumstance for you. That's not the relationship for you. And I'll tell you what, like I started the video off, I want the absolute best for my subscribers, and it's up to you. You have choices. And let me tell you something else. If you're good enough to hang out with on Monday and Thursday, then you're good enough to hang out with on the weekend, those trips, those holidays, what have you. I think you know exactly where I'm coming from. I hope this video has made a difference for you. and I'll see you next time.